Society Productions. Do them and I'll just do me. Do them and I'll just do me. Masons think they added, blacks think they national. Celebrating king's speeches at the Capitol. Don't have rights, so they act like an animal, thinking they the baddest in a dead status. Won't listen when I say they brown, not black. Don't think they sound like a clown on crack. Won't realize since their third eyes closed. Don't realize they waste money on clothes. Children with ashy knees, most are obese. Moms don't cook but order pizza with cheese and buckets of the clone chicken is finger licking till your arteries are sticking. Heart stop ticking. They wanna play the blame game, but it's too late. Most still don't learn till it's too late. I'll let them do them and I'll just do me. Stay watching DVD lectures and Bun TV. Let the dead do them and I'll just do me. My order of the day is still nationality. Let the dead do them, I'll just do me. Stay watching DVD lectures and Bun TV. I'll do me and let the dead do them. Mixing their trees with the cigarette blend. I'll do me and let the dead do them, accepting a slave brand to identify them. I'm on Beys, can't believe they so dead. Talking without thinking, brainless heads, aimless threads. If you're black, you're a slave. Instead of humbling, they delete me from their page, calling me names, but that's no bother. Most are the return of emergency fund robbers, pushing the I'm black to cause friction. That's when I agree and I'm in the jurisdiction. They want me Morisco and at the disco. Caravana isn't carnival, no more calypso. The problem's not the world but the people in it. Abusers of authority got the people timid, not behind the wheel but giving themselves limits. Things I say make pop eyes without spinach. Too much dead to wake up, work can't finish. The first Jews weren't black or their language Yiddish. Let the dead do them and I'll just do me. My order of the day is still nationality. Let the dead do them, I'll just do me. Stay watching DVD lectures and Bun TV. I'll do me and let the dead do them. Mixing their trees with the cigarette blend. I'll do me and let the dead do them, accepting a slave brand to identify them. The dead will do them like they've always done. Won't change unless in front the barrel of a gun. Won't change though Barack said it's that time. Youths killing each other, same content in their rhyme. Rappers mislead, situations critical. When we write that spelling, spells are rituals. You might think not, I suggest every thought that you think should be done very careful before you give me an earful. My reply, the kind to make your ears tearful. Stomach butterflies won't wonder why. Just accept the message from me from the Most High. That's why most die, cause they don't listen. Nicene Council Conference made you a Christian. Wicked caliphs got circling Kaaba fictions. All law is from Ma'at, they say black Egyptians, causing separations and black divisions. Brown faces frontline on attack missions. The plot thickens, but it's thin perceptions. Got them spending less time on Drew Ali than Inception. Voting for candidates whose motive direction is to keep us at risk in priority sections and make us have an altered perception. Decepticons got Autobots with deceptions. Let the dead do them and I'll just do me. My order of the day is still nationality. Let the dead do them, I'll just do me. Stay watching DVD lectures and Bun TV. I'll do me and let the dead do them, mixing their trees with the cigarette blend. I'll do me and let the dead do them, accepting a slave brand to identify them. Islam Moors, we have no time to waste. So, off the top, introduction. Yet the Torah itself, i.e. the Christian Old Testament, is replete with stories detailing the impact of Egypt on the Hebrew religion in its formative centuries. It is after this sojourn in Egypt that Abraham undergoes a series of transformations. In the fullness of time led to a sacred covenant with God. It seems evident, for example, that one establishment of the practice of circumcision among his people was a direct outgrowth of his encounter with Egyptian culture, where circumcision had already been customary for centuries. Oh yeah, and this is their scholar guys, right? Don't forget, these are their scholar guys. Alright? So Hebrew Israelites are actually Egyptians, right? And who the Moors? Egyptians, aren't we? All right. He took the Egyptian woman Hagar as his consort, and she gave birth to his first son, Ishmael. Ishmael, hey. The founding ancestor of the Arabian people. Remember, this is why people are against the Moorish Empire, because they already sold out. Ishmael, same people talking crazy about whatever, is the founder of the Arab people, right? Founding ancestor, not no Moor, not no Bey. These are the Arab guys. That's why they could jump ship from all these different ships. Like we tell people, since we came on this, RV Bey, that's it. Don't tell me about anything else. Out of here with anything else you're talking about. RV Bey all day, every day. Nothing else. Moorish Science Temple couldn't teach me anything. How do I know that? Because Grand Sheiks in Moorish Science Temple told me, they don't teach you nothing. You better go to RV Bey Publications. And you're listening to these guys. Forget these guys. All of them. We're all Moors. No anything else matters. Right? The Moors had whose culture? They preserved the African culture that came from the Egyptians, which is connected to the Cushites and everybody going down the Nile and all this stuff like that that you guys like to rep, but never rep Moors. Okay. We'll continue on. The scholar, breaking it down for you. Yeah, when does it? Let's get the copyright so we could see that, you know, once you're under frequency, you know, then you don't have to claim to be reincarnated prophets and stuff like that. You just let the Most High speak through you. First published 1881. These guys are Hebrew Israelites. Ha! Ha! It is necessary to point out, it is necessary to point out, however, that Abraham was not himself Hebrew. He is as much the ancestor of the children of Israel, Ishmael, Arabs, as he is the children of Israel, Hebrews. And in any case, the Hebrew religion does not appear until Moses bestows the law upon the children of Israel at Sinai 700 years after Abraham. The most important historical episode in Hebrew history is unquestionably the 430-year sojourn in Egypt and the exodus that brought it to a close. In truth, it is difficult to imagine how the children of Israel could have become a nation and elaborated the Hebrew religion without the prolonged and intimate contact with Egyptian culture. Same culture that the Moors came, that they're going to sit. Okay, all right. Remember, sorry, these Negroes that like to lie to their people, these Negroes that wear fezzes and turbans, that like to pretend that, you know, there's no such thing as a Moroccan empire. Moorish empire doesn't exist or whatever, but this is one volume. Don't worry. You're listening to these sellouts. These sellouts lying to you that you're Israelite. Islam, to all the Israelites who proclaim their nationality, know that they're Moorish Americans. Islam, Shalom, and all the other stuff. This is in fact the crux of Massey's argument. Moses, unquestionably, the single most important figure in Hebrew history, was a trained temple initiate as the Torah itself indicates, and therefore the only one qualified to lead the children of Israel out of Egypt. So he had to learn Moorish science to lead the children out of. But they're not Moors. Right? Put it up again. Put it up again. If he's going to wear the red fez, not the black fez with the ankh on it, that people are going to parade around and say, yeah, that's their nation or whatever, then how come he's not wearing that right now? How come? Why did he present himself in propria persona, not as some Amun-Ra, Black Eagle, Indian, whatever? Why? Because he knew what was up. Don't think he didn't know. And he made it farther than anybody else. Because he actually had the land and stuff on it. Talking BS about, you're not Moors? Man gave you the blueprint. The physical, no pun intended, gave you the blueprint how to build your own stuff. And you're crowding up this one place. Instead of taking the information, going the hell back wherever you came from and building there. That's why every time they cut off the head, the stuff always dies with our people. Some clown's gonna come up and say they're reincarnated people and all that stuff. You following them. People telling me about their nationality is Hebrew Israelite. When Moses and Abraham and all those guys were Egyptians, the hell out of here. You let these people play games with your mind? It's your mind. My mind's freedom. You play whatever you're playing. Active Moors, their mind's on some other levels. You don't even know what's coming. In Massey's mind, the original children of Israel were Egyptian in language, religion, and ethnicity. Doubtless, he first arrived at this conclusion after becoming acquainted with the testimony of Josephus, who in his essay against Apion, so Josephus, Josephus, an essay against Apion, against Apion, paraphrases the Egyptian analyst's explanation of the Exodus, indicating that the people who so departed Egypt were themselves Egyptian, though outcasts. And this is why they got branded with Hebrew Israelite, because that's like black. Back then. Back then, if you said you're a Hebrew Israelite, you're a black guy. Skinny jeans and all that stuff, and you're doing BS out here. Just a zombie. That's what you are. Back then. Remember, the Egyptians, you know, if you're from Egypt and you go somewhere else, you're not where you ended up. You're still where you came from. Everybody has to go back to the farm. El Haj told you the chickens are coming home to roost. The chickens are coming home to roost. Think that that's not the case. Keep thinking that's not the case. Certain classical writers, including Tacitus, Diodorus, and Strabo, also echoed this assessment. How crazy is it? Peace, more.
What's going on, man?
Yo, I'm just doing this live thing right now. Just reading some Gerald Massey.
Oh, okay. I'm listening. Yo, well, my boy from the Caribbean, he's Jamaican, right? The brother, I did the lecture at the bookstore. So he called me up just now, and then he Colombian brother called me. He said, yo, Kabir, fall back. He said, monetize your shit. He said, a nigga's stealing your shit, right? So I said, I know. He said, you be giving out too much information to motherfuckers. And he said, you just fucked me up last night and today with 2 YouTube. Because you just fucked my head up.
That's what we gotta do. That's what we gotta do. It's going back to critical thinking.
Yo, but the thing is that nobody's going in the way I'm going in on this shit. I got to do this now. I said, dude, you don't understand. I got shit in my head and I'm not believing. I said, y'all think that's some shit I'm saying.
2 nights straight? 2 nights straight? You really think that this is just some... Come on, yo. Yeah, boy. Yo.
I said, y'all, my head goes fucking... My shit will go deep. So I'm sitting back, right? And the brothers from Jamaica, he said, you know what? He said, Samir, fuck giving them all this information. You know, we'll keep it pushing. He can push the out of darkness shit right now. And then anybody want anything else, he want me to come on his documentary he's doing. He owns a bookstore in New York. They bring me back on the 16th.
Yeah. Don't. Yo.
I said, well, what I want to do, I said, I'm trying to get to Canada to promote out of darkness.
Yeah.
I said, if motherfuckers get paid for flights and shit, I'm good. I said, oh, get me the money. He said, yo, I'm going to see about getting you to go there. Because he said, I'm not one of these motherfuckers that talk. He said, whatever you need, I got you. He said, because you need to be out there telling motherfuckers this shit. They need to really understand who the fuck you are. And he said, what happens, they want to wait. This is what Jamaican do stuff. He said, they want to wait. He said, nigga, I see what you're doing. I'm watching. He said, I know what the fuck needs to be done.
Right.
And I'm sitting there, I just want to go start promoting out of darkness. I want to get to Canada and do shit there.
So, yo. Listen what I'm saying. yo, right now, I'm live right now. So I'm gonna link you back after.
Yeah, hit me up after.
All right.
You on YouTube?
Yeah, right now.
All right, I'm ready to go. What's your shit?
Canaanland Wars.
You showing me your name?
Canaanland Wars. We're on there.
Okay, I'm ready to go there right now.
Yeah.
All right.
Too much, yo. Too much. It's just too much. So I hope you realize what's going on. Right? I hope you realize what's going on. The frequency is freaking going right now for those that are on it. If you're not on it, sorry, too bad. You know what I mean? The boat has left the dock. Let's back up. Certain classical writers, including Tacitus, Diodorus, and Strabo, also echoed this sentiment, right? That the people who Exodus Egypt that say that they're Hebrew are actually Egyptian. So they're not Hebrew, don't even fall for that BS that they're telling me. The very least that can be said is that even if the progenitors of the children of Israel, Jacob and his clan, immigrated into Egypt from outside it, in a matter of 2 or 3 generations, they would have become fully Egyptianized. They would have been fully Egyptianized in language, race, and culture. After 430 years, it would have been an Egyptian multitude whom the Egyptians, it would have been an Egyptian multitude that departed Egypt, led by the temple priest Moses, from the Egyptians called a Sarsiph, Osarsiph. The Egyptians called Moses a Sarsiph. There's one there for the chematology people or whatever. You guys will rep some stuff. All right. Because, you know, if Abraham had a name before Abraham, and then Moses had a name before, then that means that, you know, status correction is not some Taj Tariq Bey teachings. Status correction is something that people been doing. Think about it. His Egyptian name is Asar Sif. People have been calling him by the straw man Moses, including so-called Hebrew Israelites who say that they know their stuff and that's their guy and all that stuff. They're not calling, but if they call him by his Egyptian name, then that would make them look like jackasses, wouldn't it? Because they can't be Hebrew Israelite and Egyptian. Why would Asar Sif? Why don't you call him by Asar Sif, Hebrew Israelites? How come you don't call him by Asar Sif? Why? Why? Tell me why. Because he's an Egyptian. The Egyptians called him Asar Sif. This is not Kudro talking or whatever, right? Remember, other people like to show you their PowerPoint screen share. Yeah, we're going to show you the stuff. This is the introduction. The introduction. This is just the introduction. It's just the introduction. This is just merely the introduction. All right? Letting you know. And playing You're Not Moors. You're not Moors, huh? Okay. Let's go to another one. Living Races of Man. Carlton Kuhn. Let the Kuhn tell you. How about we let the Kuhn tell you? Maybe you get it then. You'll get it. Page 294. Table 13. Racial distribution in Latin America. 1957. Racial distribution. Europeans, Indians, Mestizo, Negro, Mulatto, and others. Population in thousands. Now, they're talking about this whole idea of Latin America, right? They're talking about Latin America now, okay? But let's see what they say at the beginning of the Latin America stuff. Let's see what they say. In 1493, hot on the heels of Columbus' discovery, Pope Alexander IV, himself a Spaniard, divided between Spain and Portugal the overseas territories yet to be ceded and claimed. The dividing line was supposed to run north and south 100 leagues west of the Azores, which would give Portugal only a small piece of the South American mainland around Pernambuco. Pernambuco. King John II of Portugal, who had a stronger navy than Spain's, was in a position to protest, and at the Treaty of Tordesillas, signed a year later, the line was moved to a point 370 leagues west of the Azores, or somewhere in the neighborhood of 46 degrees west longitude. This gave Portugal an eastern third of what is now Brazil. In 1492, Ferdinand and Isabella finally expelled the last of the Moors and Jews from Spain, except for those who chose to become hasty converts to Catholicism. These are the same Moors who are parading around today. Turbans and fezzes make you think that they're Moors, but they say that they're not nationals. They say they're part of U.S. and all that stuff. They're part and partial and all that, when that means that they work for the Christendom. They work for Catholicism. And remember, Juali told you that you're not supposed to amalgamate. So why are they pushing the concepts of the preacher man on their brother man with a fez on, singing hymns to Noble Juali? That's Morisco, the converters, the ones who said, okay, we'll stay in Spain, we'll just be Moriscos. Those are the ones. that we're dealing with still today. Still, life was insecure, particularly for the ex-Jews, many of whom, not wishing to face the Inquisition, found it both expedient and adventurous to move to the New World, where their descendants are numbered among the old aristocratic Spanish families. For example, the Medinas of Chile. Now we know, black grandma in the closet, that all these places are Asiatic. We're not talking about some Europeans looking Chileans when they're talking about 1492 and all that stuff. Doesn't that mean that there's a relative culture? Because, I mean, hey, we were told, even though man knows not by being told, but he was an abolitionist, so we'll go with what he's saying. America was known as the Barbary States, but over here. Why? Because this is all Moorish dominions. This is all under the jurisdiction of the Moors, only if they want it. Because even in the Coon book, they're telling you that the Moors and the people in South America are relative. Why? Because they said the Jews, which we know they don't mean these people that claim that they're Jews today. They talk about the same Egyptians, who again are North Africans, which why them and the Moors were able to just trade each other's information. It ain't no big deal. That's our fam. Not afraid to be Egyptians. We just know that we're also on this side. We're not just in North Africa over there. We're also over here. Hence, descendants are numbered among the old aristocratic Spanish families, as for example, Medinas of Chile. 0 euro. If they're saying Treaty of Tordesillas 1493, they didn't really start doing nothing over here yet. Even still today, especially as them being shut down and all that stuff, like they're not doing anything. Drali said, fall's gonna go back in the hands of the Moors. Active Moors get a little peace, right? And then people pretend like, oh, it's nothing. No, that stuff doesn't work, and we can't be Moors because of something some clown said. But we want you to know how real it is. And I want to say Islam to the good brother Navi Bey, because Moors are really doing their best. Right? Now, Brother Chris Stackhouse Bey has been kidnapped. He's being held at the Major Hulan Dillon County Judicial Center. This is the sheriff's office. Right? This is not where he's being held. This is the sheriff's office. The contact number 843-774-1432. 843-774-1432. Now, people are going to take this situation and then they're going to make this you know, oh, he didn't have plates, and because he didn't have plates, that's why, and he's following Taj Tariq Bey, and he's following RV Bey and all that stuff. But we're going to let you know, just in case they try something. Just in case they try something. Brother Christopher Stackhouse Bey, Brother Chris Stackhouse Bey, had a lawsuit against this County Corporation. He had a lawsuit against the county corporation because they already kidnapped him and beat him up, and he sued them. He sued them. And what happened? The same people who he sued, they kidnapped him. Because the suit stuck. Because the judge was like, hold on a second, what do you mean you're going to violate indigenous people and just think you could just do that? And the judge ran the suit. So don't let these people make you think that because somebody gets arrested for exercising their right, that they're some sovereign citizen or they're whatever. This is just a Moor that got beat up by the police, but he was a Moor. They didn't know what the hell they didn't know what was up. Right? They thought it was a black guy. They could do whatever they want. Moor sued them. And then he just got kidnapped for having fake plates. The plates that he has were fictitious plates or some BS like that. Right? Don't fall for the propaganda. Beg you, don't fall for the propaganda. Dillon County Corporation. So we'll put it out again. Make sure you contact the sheriff. Let him know that Chris Stackhouse Bey, who's been kidnapped by Dillon County Corporation, South Carolina, has a lawsuit against these people that kidnapped him. 843-774-1432. Call the sheriff. Just let them know. Email Dillon, DILLON, sheriff, SHERIFF.org, to serve the citizens of Dillon County. Remember, this is not highwayman. This is sheriff that you're talking to. Right? Just let them know. Somebody got kidnapped by the name of Chris Stackhouse Bey by Dillon County Corporation. And you just wanted to put him on notice that somebody who sued them got kidnapped by them. He can probably check whatever records to find out if there's really a suit and all that stuff. But we talk to Moors who know that there was a suit. And the Moor was about to go to court. Right? Suit is already there. So we just wanted to put that out for the Moors who are on the fence and the Moors who are playing dirty and all that stuff, to know, forget people who do jackass stuff and comparing them to Moors. No, this is what real life is with active Moors. Moor did nothing. Moor did nothing. Did nothing. Got kidnapped for no reason. Didn't do anything. They just knew that was the guy who sued them. We're pulling him over because we have the power to flick our lights on and he has to stop. We have the power to take him out the car. We have the power to take the plate off, put a different plate on there, say that, whatever. Why? Because people like Morisco World TV and these people amp these people up, pushing Southern Poverty Law Center as really what law is. They're Moors. Do you know what type of credibility they're giving to these colonizers by pushing what their agenda is? Moors are pushing the agenda of the colonizer. Not the colonizer. Moors. And they're trying to tell you that the Moor, we're on the side of the Moor who sued these bastards. It was just, you know what I mean? Zip the lip. We already know what's going down because his suit wasn't some $2,000 like the black guys. Right? So we put it all out there. Right? it was pretty much over, because the suit was going to take care of everybody. Just because of who was suing. Not one of these dirty Moors up in here telling you about Noble Drew Ali owns some whatever. We're talking about a Moor who put his on the line, because he could have been dirty Moor and sued for himself. But nah, he got with some Moors who were students of Tashreef Bey and R.V. Bey and Grand Sheikh Nature, Alim Bey or whatever, all of them, teachers of all of them, right? Got with Moors who were students of all those people. And put those Moors on to what, was going on, because, as usual, he didn't have a temple where he can go to, because he's in South Carolina. There's a dirty Moors in South Carolina, where nobody knows what's going on. Forget the places where it's populated, we know what's going on. Don't forget there's temples where people really don't know what's going on. And you might get the one call from somebody like, oh man, I went to that temple and dudes had pants with one leg red and one leg green. And that's what they had to wear at their temple. Crazy ones you would hear. Trust me, I get the calls to know. This is why I'm telling you. Dirties everywhere. The Moor said, I'm not even going to deal with them, because I already know what these dirty Moors are on. Let me just go over here, be humble with whatever's going down. And then he just contact with the right Moors, and the Moors were like, yo, we got you, regardless of what, and whatever. But we know that's why they kidnapped him. Right? We know why. Because he had them. When they have on the R.V. Bey, when you're talking about the straw man or whatever like that, and then you have the mother holding the eagle, right? That's how he had them. He had them like that. Everybody who studies, knows the picture. If you don't study, then sorry, the boat has left the dock. Don't get mad. Right? So, the Moor had them, and they said, you know what? We don't like this Moor right here. This Moor is going to cause us problems. You think they're worried about some Tex Mason and them people there? Those people are collateral damage. All those dumb people who had the brilliant thought of claiming something. That's like all the things to claim. You have the power as a Moor. You can claim anything. And the thing you claim is CN Tower. You may claim on the CN Tower because CN Tower is on your land. You're a dumbass. And whatever you get, I guess you get. Because that's just straight stupid. That doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even make sense. But, this is what we got to deal with. This is just what we got to deal with. Now, again, we're talking about South America. Remember, we're talking about how the frequency works, right? We're talking about the frequency. Now, you already know, standard class day, we're just going off the rip, open the email, answer the stuff. And check in to see what's in there and stuff like that. Prep myself so I can answer these people's questions. No, get it off the top. Freestyle. Forget the written stuff. Right? So the Moor, Navi Bey, sends ancient scripts in South America. The Sumerians in South America. Dr. Clyde Winters. The Sumerians in South America. And then I could hear the people, hey, why you screen share? Screen share so we could see. No, because this is just for live people. Right? This is just for live people. But what's going to be uploaded is going to be video camera, which is there. So these people still not going to see it. What you're going to do is you're going to go get the book and you're going to go study. You're not going to screen share anything. You're going to go get the books, just like Islam to Brother Sabir. That when he comes on and he has just books. It's not PowerPoint. It's books. Where there's pages and you have to take mental notes and know what things are saying and know what words mean and all that stuff. People who don't want to do that, illiterate people, like how they say Noble Drawley is illiterate, but he wrote books and stuff like that. Okay, well, these people haven't wrote books. What does that tell you about them? If they're going to say he's illiterate, but he had books, then if they're illiterate, why don't they have books? Where's their Moorish books at? Nowhere to be found. Because they're really the dumb ones. They're really the dumb ones. And you're listening to dumb people instead of going and studying. And again, Islam to Brother Tashriq Bey and Islam to Brother Sabir Bey. Because one of the most impactful presentations ever was critical thinking. Oh yeah, Islam to Brother Hanif. We cannot forget Brother Hanif. Islam to Brother Hanif doing his coaching thing right now and just giving children amazing lives because he's the best coach ever. Why? Because he's a Moor. The best ever. So Islam to all the teams coached by Brother Hanif. Critical thinking. If you haven't, make sure you go on YouTube. It's up there. Critical thinking, Tashriq Bey, Sabir Bey, Brother Hanif. Watch that change your life, especially if you're a new Moor. Right? So that's, you know, there's a certain frequency that we choose to just ride that. Forget whatever else anybody else says that they're on. If you're not on this, you're not on anything that I need to be putting my attention to. That's just what it is. Told y'all. You know what I mean? Man came and said that the Egyptians are the Hebrew Israelites. And the Hebrew Israelites are the Egyptians, so there's no such thing as Hebrew Israelites. Let's just be Moors. Could we just be Moors? You know what I mean? Like Noble Drawley made a plea to the nation. We're making a plea to all our people who call themselves whatever it is that they call themselves. Could we just once try to be more? Let's all just try to be Moors once. We tried to be all the other stuff. We're still being those stuff today. It's not really doing nothing. Let's just once, just put all our ego aside or whatever, and let's just all be Moors for a week and see what happens. Let's just be Moors for a week. If it's BS, then throw it away. Don't ever, whatever, you know what I mean? You know, whatever you want to do after. But we're letting you know that it is real. This is not just, you know what I mean, like, how is it that, you know, just off the top, yesterday, Brother Kaaba calls while we're going live. Just off the top, just call. Off top, like, you can ask Sabir, like, we don't talk on the phone like every day or nothing like that. You know what I mean? Like, call each other once a month, like, yo, what's up? The one time a month that we talk to each other is today when we're going live. You think that this is you think Allah is not guiding this? You really think Allah is not guiding this? We're just talking about the South America or whatever. The more sending the email about the South America and Sumerians and about to tie us to this thing that we're making the same point. You're bringing a whole different source, but we're making the same point. That's how active Moors do. We're not these passive in the building Moors. Right? We study. We definitely study. Right? The Babylonians had their own names of the gods. The major gods were Sin, Nana, the mood god, Ishtar, Venus, and Nabu, or Marduk, the god of wisdom and knowledge. Nergal was the god of war. Nabu, also the god of the scribes, were popularized by them in Babylon. Nabu was the son of Marduk. The most important god in the history of Sumer was Namu. Namu was the creator of the heavens and the sea. She was also recognized as the mother of Enki. In Sumerian literature, she was recognized as the primeval sea, S-E-A, and the mother who gave birth to all the gods. This is an important revelation because it makes it clear that in the beginning the Sumerians had the mother goddess as the leading god in their pantheon of gods. How come all these people pushing patriarch on you? Because remember, Noble Ali said, you know, mother. So don't say that we're pushing patriarch when we say Noble Ali, because he didn't teach some masculine BS. He taught honors to mother.
Right.
So don't get it twisted. Islam, more, you have anything to put in there?
Islam, more. I'm just vibing and going on.
Oh, you're just in the cut. You're just in the cut.
Sitting in the cut like a band-aid, baby. You know how I do it, man. But that's beautiful, beautiful. Hey, it is. Like I say, the mother's always first. And as long as we keep the mothers first, we're going to be all right.
We're going to be all right. Just put the mothers first. Honors to all the mothers. Thank you for everything.
Indeed. Thank you to my mother for bringing me here.
Without you, we're done for.
Yeah, I'll have some, but keep on. I digress now. I'll have some before we finish.
Yeah, no worries. There's a lot more. Right, so ancient scripts in South America, the Sumerians in South America, Dr. Clyde Winters. Go read some. Not sharing nothing on those screens. Forget screen share. Go buy the book, read the book. Let me know what's up. Put me on. Start putting out some videos or something. Let me know what's up.
Pardon me, Sheik. Those are for the illiterate ones. You You are right about that, Moore. I digress.
And again, we also have to put it out. Make sure that you have it near. Just make sure you have it near. No, doesn't have to be Bible or anything like that, but you know, this lets you know how people are trying to maneuver on you, especially when you talk about your mind. You know what I mean? Because you know what people always keep forgetting. They get onto this whole thing about, you know, yeah, the tactics of the Okay, well, how about where was his mind at to even put this down? What realm was he on when he drew this stuff to this plane? Remember, he's Asiatic, so we're not even going to play around with all that stuff that other people are talking about. We know that this is divine that was sent. Right? So make sure that you recognize that this is wisdom, not some military strategy stuff people talking with their patriarchal mindset. This is not patriarchy. This is matriarchy. This is wisdom. This is wisdom. And again, once you have knowledge, then you're able to do what you're supposed to do. Without knowledge, you're done for. That's just what it is. It ain't nothing personal. And again, we're talking about the Moriscos. Let's go in on some Moriscos. So you can see that these are the same people who are around here today, who were telling you these people are clowns. They're Moriscos. They're not Moorish anything. Forget Moorish. They're Moriscos. Why? Because they converted. They converted from being for self to amalgamate. Noble Drew Ali wasn't talking about some sexual stuff when he said about don't amalgamate. That's not what he was talking about. Because you already know that the European daughter has the harem complex. And she's always going to go for the Moor. That's just what it is. Like, it ain't even, she has the harem complex. You can't, like, that's what it is. You know what I mean?
Indeed.
That's just what it is. You know what I mean? This is where it's at. I personally don't subscribe, you know what I mean? Don't get crazy or whatever. Say Kudrow said that we can whatever. No, I'm just saying. That is something that is a reality. Because this is the third dimension. Like, what do you mean? Of course gays are going to get married and be able to adopt children and turn them gay. Why wouldn't that be happening in Babylon? Because remember, it's the mindset of Babylon that keeps Babylon in existence, not Babylon.
Right.
It's the mindset of Sun Tzu that makes us honor him, not because we went out and did the thing that he said and it worked. We're like, oh yeah, Sun Tzu's the man or whatever. No. It's the wisdom. But the wisdom has to be applicable. If it's not applicable, then it's just info. Clogged your head with stuff and you know nothing. That's why we say that go read Noble Drew Ali stuff when he's told you that Moors are supposed to be active, not passive. You think Moor went to go get permission from Tashriq Bey to go sue these people because they kicked his ass or whatever? If he's a student of Taj and he's a follower and all that stuff, and RV Bey made him and whatever like that, and he has their card and all that stuff, you think he called them and said, oh yeah, I need permission because I have you guys' card. Can I get permission to sue these guys because they beat me up? No, he exercised what he know. He didn't exercise as a newborn. He didn't exercise as an infant or a minority with a fez on. He exercised based on what he knew. Why? What wisdom he had. The work that he put in. Forget anybody else. You're going to say, oh yeah, what's his number? Because I want to sue so then we can do... No, that's not what is going on. That's what he did. That's his jurisdiction. Not going to leech off of his jurisdiction and so you don't have to go study to learn how to do what he did. He's a reference point to let people out there who like to talk BS or whatever to know that don't think that Moors out here are active and we're like y'all just in the camera and then we're not doing Moorish stuff outside. Like we told you, we know Moors who go on the street and they sweep the street up. Not even streets they live on. We know Moors who get their pot and they go outside and they minus 20 or whatever and they're feeding homeless people hot soup.
Yes.
We know Moors like that. That's what their activity is. Their activity isn't driving with plates and all that. Forget that. Moorish plates, that's the activity? No, their activity is being humanitarian. Exercising the Rotarian complexion of the Moorish Science Temple of America that these sellouts have not been exercising. Which is why you can have the Shriners get the street shut down and then they come around making a mockery of the Moors with their Corvettes and all that type of stuff when we were the ones who had the Corvettes. They weren't the ones with the boats running up on them to go steal their stuff. What do you mean they're in the Corvette? And what do you mean Moors who are Moorish Science Temple and they rep Noble Drew Ali and all that stuff? You're not going in, oh, because you guys are passive, that's why. Which is even why they're in the Corvette, because of these Moriscos. These Moriscos who said, let's work with the other side. We told you, whether it's Givensell, Kirkman Bey, Emiliel, whoever, going down the line, all of these people were in the European courts against each other. What the hell are you doing in the European courts, you're Moorish Americans? And not even like you're in the European court like the brother to sue these other Europeans. You're in the European court taking your brother there.
Right.
And then you're standing around today, 2018, like you're somebody of the Moorish or whatever. The hell out of here. And I understand why the Moors started talking about this thing about, you know, well, we're just putting you through the Adam chamber because we know that if you just go out there with a charter, they're going to have something to say that you can't whatever. But once you go through the Adam chamber, they can't tell you anything. Told us, we know that Canaanland is part of the Moorish Empire. That's not some queen jurisdiction. So here's all the stuff, and then you go there and be Moors. Yeah, well, I'm looking through the thing in there. It says dues, that, you know, when we get dues, we have to take a percentage of the dues and send it back to you guys because you're the grant. No, you don't do that. You're not even established. What are we taking stuff from you for when you need whatever you got to establish what you're doing out there? This is how we were brought up, as far as to be a divine minister and a grand sheik and all that stuff. We were brought up like how you see these people today. How they're brought up, how they talk, using Southern Poverty Law Center as a source. And that is a colonist institution. Those are not people that they should be using as a source if they say that they're Moors. Why are they using Southern Poverty Law Center?
Pardon me, Sheik. That should tell you something right there. Southern
Bro, it's freaking crazy. Like people need the Hulk smash.
Yes.
Because what do you mean? They even have 200 views. They should have 0. They're with Poverty Law Center. Do you know who Southern Poverty Law Center is? Go check who they are. Forget about Moors. Don't think they didn't do BS stuff to the black guys too and everybody else. With their propaganda machine. These people are going to the Southern Poverty Law Center website, screenshotting the Southern Poverty Center website, giving them promotion on a Moorish platform.
Wow.
They're using a Moorish platform to push their agenda of the Southern Poverty Law Center. Plus years running a fraud, that's why you know every prophet and Ali but not Drew. Keeping you away, they have a deep, dirty Moor crew, causing confusion. This dirty Moor crew will tell you partial to have chains on your brain when there should be parcel, a free national name. Drew Ali got revenge by Moors eyes wide open, not Morisco world eyes wide open. Twaherka make those lips clap, using Frank Gary, brother Larry, journalist traps. Homoerotic, stray cat Moors dissing the mothers, putting blame on active Moors for current gains and others. Fake prophets, heads on the coin, and pictures next to the noble. Today the treasury balance is 0, the total. Study, when you finish, study yourself. Dirty Moors judge your attire and judge your bookshelf. Study, when you finish, study the lore. When you study no trance by Moorish hymn composers. Study, when you finish, study the higher. Dirty Moors cook out death smell from Oscar Mayer. Study, when you finish, it's never finished. Dirty Moors selling status correction clinics, 500 per class pass. I'd rather watch Taj and have a clear perspective on the Moorish path. Faculty and student, Moorish Heritage History School. Don't endanger your life with a fool. Why do you think they're only using that as a source? Why didn't they use anything else as a source? Only that article the whole time? And Southern Poverty Law Center is the Inquisitionists? You telling me that these people are not Moriscos? You really telling me that these people are not Moriscos? It's going nuts right now. Hold on, more. Hold on. There's a lot more.
Islam more. I didn't want to interrupt more.
Oh, don't worry, more. Let me just get Supreme in. Hold on. Islam more.
Islam. Putting you right back in slavery, more. Islam.
Yeah, more. Go ahead, yo.
So, Islam, peace, beloved. Brother Hassan Ghazi of Beys, Morocco. I just wanted to put on the record, bro, like, there's no debating that needs to happen. There's a lot of, BS going on in the chat, but here near the Baltimore Corporation, for the record, okay, there are Moors that are a part of different temples here near the Baltimore Corporation and near the DC Corporation. They are traveling to the House of Reawakening Mind. They're coming for classes. The civics classes, just about whatever Friday they can come, especially when Brother Charles is there. When they find out there are Moors that are near the Baltimore Corporation that are there as well, sharing the information, a lot of them are inviting, to the dinner table. Literally. Okay? And they are there with their drives ready, they're there ready with their notes ready, and I'm telling you, they are quickly telling me 40 years, 20 years, 10, 15 years, these people have been in these temples, but they are associated with so many different temples. So I know that they're coming across agent provocateurs, these yellow journalists that say that they're active in these temples, but your members are literally hitting my phone.
Yep.
Asking for the information, and I shared with them freely. They are admitting, okay, there are sisters whose dinner tables I sit at who are crying that they are not learning civics. I don't think you know how serious this is. So playing in the chat during a civics demonstration by Granshi Cujo is counterproductive. And it adds to the counterproductivity that has been occurring here in the Baltimore Corporation, pardon me. So I think we all can I'm just putting this out there for the record, just know that here in the Baltimore Corporation, there are a lot of Moors that are in the temple that are getting a lot of their studies on and are either hiding it from their temples and their so-called grand sheiks, trying to find ways of introducing it to them, asking me will I sit down with them, and I'm kind of like, no, just study and get it for yourself.
Don't even try.
I mean, I'm serious. I mean, I'm not being disrespectful.
Don't even try. Don't even try to put them on. Don't even try. They will assassinate you. They will assassinate you.
But for the members, though, like, these people are coming to class and they're, like, to see sisters in tears. And that's when I was like, whoa, hold up. This a little different. Like, these people playing with these people's lives. Like, it's a little different when you see people kind of, like, really wanting to, do things and they feel like they've been in a situation for 20 to 40 years and they can't move. And then when they they feel like they can't move. And this is a Moorish Divine National Movement. So something's wrong there.
Definitely
you know
right.
what I mean? If they feel like they can't move. Yep. But I yield the floor, brother.
Islam more. Right? And again, this has nothing to do with Moorish Science Temple. Remember, we're Moorish Science Temple. Don't forget, we're Moorish Science Temple. So don't even try. We're not talking about temple. We're talking about the individuals who've been running it. These people have been sold you out, and it's time for you to take your stuff into your own hands. Especially you people who are, like the brother said, in those temples, Don't worry about them. Don't forget. Where's the Quran at? Well, he said enforce law and all that stuff, and these people playing around with the instructions. Right? See, told you what's up. This is how you do it. This is how you would do it. It's real easy. You know. Just know that they want to keep playing this game with you. They just want to keep playing this game with you. Have you in the position of not really exercising, because the exercising of the activity, right? The exercising of the activity might not be put some plates on, might not be right or writ, right? It might be standing up. It might be standing up. Right? O thou, the favorite of heaven, whom the sons of men, thy equals, have agreed to raise to sovereign power and set as a ruler over themselves. That's the Grand Sheik that they're talking about. That's the Grand Sheik. That's the Grand Sheik. He don't have the power. You people who've been paying dues and all that stuff, you have the power. And why is the Moorish movement moving at, kind of pace like when this thing should be like us? Because the people, their activity is Tex Mason and these people. That's not active. That's not active. Active is Rotarian complexion, humanitarian. Active is Declaration of Rights of Indigenous People, anything in there. Forget plates and all that stuff. Forget claiming stuff. We need you to put up your $5,000 claiming that you want to help something. Doesn't even have to be us. Find them more doing good and support. And it's like that. There's Moors that would just link, say, yo, I'm good right now, what you need. But we gotta, bam, alright, no problem. Just on the strength that we're Moors. Just on the strength that we're Moors. Like when I think about, like, people talk about time and all that type of stuff and whatever, like, I'm looking at it like, if we have the power to define, and we can all collectively define ourselves as one thing for the salvation of everybody. As soon as you're not down with that, you're a traitor. You're an enemy to the cause. Because you know what has to be done. And you're choosing not to do it. Choosing to pussyfoot with this. Then you say you look at all the master teachers or whatever, you see that they died broke and all that stuff. You know how much good they did to be broke? Think about those numbers. What if the good that they did is really the money? What if they didn't die broke? What if they died so when they go to the next realm, they're quadrillionaires? Because why? They followed the lesson that Noble Drew Ali taught, you know, give honors to all divine prophets or whatever. And is it in this world, not of this world? As soon as you get caught up, these people with titles and you're chasing them and stuff like that, and you realize that it's not about you being the savior of humanity.
Right.
You being the savior of humanity. That's why we brought it back. Told you. Doc even told you in his lecture, Mask of God. Were you sitting around waiting for Malachi York to do something? What do you mean? You're waiting for me to do something. Same thing when Hemet went and he went and had his lecture with the Nuwapians. And he's telling them, what do you guys want me to tell you? Like, what do you want me to tell you? Like, you expect me to come here with some supercalifragilistic snap stuff and then something happens? Like, you guys are Nuwapians. Like, what do you want me to tell you? Like you guys' master teacher is like a god man. The hell do you mean? You want me to do a lecture for you guys? And then when I'm talking about stuff, you're trying to say, well, where's the real stuff? What do you mean, where's the real stuff? Your master teacher gave you holy tablets and all that. What more real stuff you want than that? What more real stuff you want? Put on your mask of God. Stop hiding behind other people's masks. But again, you know, once you have no nationality and all that stuff, you know, it's easy for you to abandon your birthright and be a Morisco. Everybody will just do our 360 and we're right back to where we started. That it all comes down to, are you an active Moor or are you a Morisco? We're not even talking about the Negro black colored people. They're in their own whatever. In Islam, to Brother Supreme L for the silent weapons, quiet wars. That was a good recap. That was a good recap.
More to come, Morris.
Yeah, that was a good recap. Well, yeah, and the countdown too. The countdown was a good one. The countdown was a good one.
And pardon me, I want to put something out there into the chat and to everybody who's going to listen. You know, I know that it may seem like it's other videos that you've seen on there, but it's a countdown. You know, people stay on the countdown because it's beautiful music. You know, and if we put more music in, if you know somebody that does music, you know, tell them to give me a line, drop me a line, and I'll put them on there. But you know, for the time being, it's the ones that's really loving it and kicking it and doing well. That's why they're up there. So, but I can give you thanks for that. More to come.
There's a lot more.
Islam.
So this is chapter 6, the end of Moriscos Spain. Now remember again that we're talking conceptual with regard to the conversion, right? That these people have a nation, but they don't want to be nationals of it. They want to be citizens of some other thing, right? They have a prophet, but they're going to say a reincarnated is really who the prophet is. Not the actual prophet, the guy who woke up and became Noble Drew Ali is who the real prophet is. And then he's times like 8 or 10 or something like that. Right? You know, the use the definition of nationality to push naturalization on Moors, which is what Brother Hassan is alluding to, with regard to the Baltimore Moorish Science temples that people are starting to realize that, hold on a second, when I put Noble Drew Ali's literature next to, forget what they saw at or they heard at House of Ram or whatever, forget that. When they put Noble Drew Ali's literature next to the literature that they got from their Supreme Grand whoever, the stuff's not matching up. A thinking person is going to realize, just like Europeans realized that, hey, we don't want to live under the king and stuff like that, getting abused or whatever, so we're going to come over here and get some permission to have our exodus or whatever, and we're going to come over here and then we're going to be somebody. Understand that these Moriscos that we're talking about today don't necessarily think we mean the Moriscos back then. The Moriscos back then weren't convert openly. They convert openly, but in secret they were practicing more science still. The Moriscos back there in Spain, the Moriscos that revolted after they said that they were Moriscos and all that and they're not a nation or whatever. They revolted to be who they are. Which they know that they were Moors, you know, that were under colonization. It sounds like a familiar story. But how come these Moors who are under colonization are playing the game of side with the oppressor? Why do they want to be part and partial of a democracy when they could be part and parcel and free? Why would they want to naturalize when they're descendants of Moroccans born in America? You think that's some hard stuff to find out? If people just read one Noble Drew Ali's instead of listening to this guy on the thing every week, you listening to this guy sitting on the thing, and then you go home just like a good Negro and just put down the Quran and it just sits there. And then the next week you go and you guys sing and clap and they do whatever it is that they do, and then you go back home and then no Quran reading or whatever like that. And then you bump into somebody like Hassan and he's like, yeah, you know, he just showed you the Quran, man. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's, you know, what do you mean? Like, you just walk with your Quran on you? And then he starts pulling out like all of it goes in all the different compartments or whatever like that, and he comes out with a library? People realize that, hold on a second, we missed something. We missed something. Because all we ever see Grand Sheik have is this bag. Never has any books or anything like that. There's this bag. Every week, this bag. And then we've been paying for that bus for 5 years and no bus. And we're supposed to have a school. We get finance and they're supposed to build this community and all this type of stuff like that. And we've been giving the community for 40 years, we've been paying dues or whatever. You know, they said the community's coming, but we're still in this building that we've been in for the past 40 years. Just in this building. I ain't reading Noble Drew Ali stuff. We talk about manufacturing companies and stuff like that. How come we're just in this building only? And Grand Sheik doesn't work and nothing like that, but you know, he doesn't have no job. He doesn't get up in the morning like I gotta get up in the morning or whatever. But he's just driving a Benz and stuff like that. You don't think something's wrong? People have been playing you. Right? We term them Moriscos, but don't think that they're the Moriscos from Spain, because the Moriscos from Spain weren't down with the colonization. Right? The end of Moriscos Spain. Right? Not the end of the Moors or nothing like that. Right? Moorish Spain, the Spain of the invaders from North Africa, remained in places under Muslim control for some 7 centuries. Consequently, the peoples who thus entered Spanish history were no less a part of its structure
than the Christian and Jewish population. They intermarried with them and exchanged ideas and languages so that the three religions were recognized as part of one empire. The Reconquest changed all this. The Christian advance took Saragossa in 1187, Cordoba in 1236, Valencia in 1238, Seville in 1248. Finally, after a long interval, Granada fell in 1492. The end of Moorish power meant that the Moors ceased to exist as a nation and became no more than a minority within a Christian country. This lesser status, however, they never accepted. In the Great Granada Rebellion of 1568, the Morisco leader, Aben Humeya, proclaimed, "We are no band of thieves, but a kingdom." It was an illusion which the Moorish remnant refused to give up, and led eventually to the expulsion of their race in 1609. The capitulation of Granada included in its terms an agreement by Ferdinand and Isabella that the Moors were to be regarded as free subjects of the crown, with the free exercise of their own religion. This was reaffirmed in a solemn promise given by the sovereigns. Remember, the whole concept of sovereign, that you could only be a sovereign in your land. You can't be a sovereign that's foreign to that place that you're claiming to have sovereignty.
Right.
And remember, we're mentioning sovereign in 1400s, so this is not some sovereign citizen teachings. This is not some Taj Tariq Bey teachings. These are facts of history and law that there were sovereigns. Thus, 12... Islam more.
Islam. So the European cannot be sovereign here, especially with this sovereign movement.
Exactly. Because how could they claim to be sovereign?
Right.
And the only way that they can claim to be sovereign is when there's Moriscos.
Exactly.
The only way they can claim to be sovereign is when people take the complete perspective of what Noble Drew Ali brought, but push it to people as church.
Right.
Which gives room for everybody else to be colored. Because if the Moors are going to be colored, then color must exist. Because the Moors are sanctioning the color by having a lawyer on their platform telling people that they should be doing whatever. That she went to court and she seen Moors go to court and they're like, you guys, you're not going to win this case or whatever. Moors pushing that. And then not only that, then they're going to push Southern Poverty Law Center as a source. This is not beating the dead horse. Anybody who says, oh, why you guys keep talking about that? Because we want you to know how much of traitors these people are. That's why we keep repeating the same thing over and over again about these people using Southern Poverty Law Center as a source. Like, do you know that that is high treason? That they're Moorish Americans using the Southern Poverty Law Center as a source. Southern Poverty Law Center is the same people who brought those two Detective Finch and Flowers to go against Taj and Nature and MHHS and all that.
Really? Wow.
You think you're not dealing with the people on the other side? We're talking about CIA, FBI people who had their COINTELPRO program to make sure that the concept of
quote-unquote black unity is always destabilized. Always.
King Alfred.
King Alfred plan. And these people are really talking about therefore some nation? Right? Still playing Morisco. Still siding with the enemy in order to have your brothers and sisters be subjugated. Remember, once it's a Moor, like Drew Ali said, anytime a Moor goes in a church, it becomes a temple. It's point blank. Okay, so anytime a Moor talks some BS and pushes some BS, that means they're sanctioning everybody else doing that BS. They're pushing the agenda of people who are stealing your sovereignty and claiming that you can't be sovereign because you're black. There's no way that you're a Moorish national. Your paperwork's free. That's paper terrorism and all that stuff. So if we're not Moors, what are you saying? That we're black? And then these Moors are using those people as a source? People who are talking against Moorish nationality. Remember, Southern Poverty Law Center, when they talk negative against people, right? It is because that is a Zionist publication. That is a Zionist website. Those are the anti-Semites, the birthright stealers. Right? Like the three guys who go to the game. And last play of the game. And they ask Mr. Chin, Mr. Chin, what should be the play? Mr. Chin said, yo, go to the wide receiver. We'll win this. They asked the brother, what should be the play? You know, just kick the field goal, you know what I mean, and let's just be done with this. And they asked the Jew. The Jew said, get the quarterback. Because that's how much they want finance. That's how much they want to steal stuff. That even in a football game, their concept is the player that has money attached to it, conceptually. That's how greedy that they are.
Pardon me, she take you back to that song by the artist formerly known as Prince. There's thieves in the temple tonight.
Right? Thieves in the temple. These are the people that they're supporting, that they're using as a source. This is about your nationality and your birthrights. Noble Drew Ali brought you everything it takes to save a nation. And told you, take it and save yourself.
Yes.
You say chase after anybody, follow anybody, join anything or whatever like that. You do that if you're on your own with that stuff. That's all on you. Noble Drew Ali said,
that he brought you your name, your religion, and title to your vast estate. You know what that means in the language of law? That these fakers who claim that they're Moors aren't going to put you on those type of concepts because they want to keep you a follower. Like they say, right? Like they say in their stuff. Oh yeah, red book, that's an added book, and you should read that and all that stuff and whatever. How come they don't want you to read that? Because they tell you in there the priesthood is dead.
Right, exactly.
Why do you think they hide that book in the Arab chamber? Why do you think they're mad at RV Bay Publications? You can't just buy books off there because they're trying to cash out when you buy books from there. No, the books you get from there is revealing all the secrets that these people have been playing in their Masonic stuff called in Moorish Science Temple. Naturalizing people and all that stuff. Blindfolding them, having them do rituals and stuff like that.
Yes.
To be Moors. To be a Moor, you have blindfold yourself and stuff like that? What are you talking about? That doesn't sound like Moorish Science Temple to me. That sounds like that's some lodge stuff. And we're not talking about, you know what I mean, ancient Kemetic lodge. We're not talking about the reclamation of, you know, the Moorish lodge. We're not talking about that. We're talking about infiltration.
Right.
Prince Hall, fake people.
Black people.
That because they couldn't, right? Remember the whole play. Any sincere European Mason will tell you that when it comes to Prince Hall and the quote-unquote European Masons, there's no brotherhood there. The Prince Hall is Hiram Abiff. Like, those guys are nothing to us. This is how Europeans that are Masons talk against their brothers who are Prince Hall Masons or the Black Lodges. That's how they talk about them. You know, because remember, you know, we're Moors. So it's not like they're not telling. You know, it's not some secret they're revealing. We know it. We know who Hiram Abiff is. They don't have to say, oh, the black guys are Hiram Abiff. That's what he just made the reference point. Oh, yeah, you know, black masonry, that's like Hiram Abiff. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Which is why, you know, they never helped them. Which is why we spoke about on Sons of Allah with the book that the European Masons wrote talking about how much these guys are a fraud. So because they tried to amalgamate with the European Masons and got turned down, they had to find other avenues. Instead of going back to their ancient forefathers and forefathers mindset, they want to try to be something that they're not. Leading us all the way up to here, of being something that we're not so much that people just think that we're a joke right now. People think we're a joke. People think we're a joke to the point where a Moor has a lawsuit on a corporation and the highwaymen that kidnapped him. And they're like, we'll just kidnap you again. This is where they're at. Where are you at? Like we said, it's not no thing where, you know what I mean, you're talking crazy about, you know, see, what? No, Moors are, you know what I mean, they're going to his court sessions and stuff like that. They're, you know what I mean, it's not like how they make it seem. that there's no unity amongst Moors on our side of the fence that say that we're active, that, you know, somebody gets kidnapped and then they're by themselves and all that stuff. No, we still send stuff to them. They get to call, have conversations, analyze what went down, how come it went like that and all that. You're not mad. And remember that you're dealing with the Inquisition. You're dealing with colonists. You're dealing with conquistadors. You're not dealing with government officials of whatever. You're dealing with people who are descendants of people who put out edicts to make sure that the Moors stay Moriscos at all costs. You are never going to be a Moor again. That, oh, you're going to sue us as a Moor? We're going to still come kidnap you. We're going to make you not be a Moor. But they don't know that this is a new generation of Moors with eyes wide open. Eyes wide open. And it's not really going to be that easy like when you were dealing with the Moriscos. It's not going to be that easy. Because people who are receiving this information now, they're entering with their eyes open already. They're already entering seeing and knowing. So when they realize birthright, it's a square peg in a square hole. It just fits perfectly to everything that they've been doing all their life. You had something to add more?
Just that once they realize it, it's curtains and mini blinds. Like it's curtains and mini blinds, Daddy. That's what I like now. Once they realize it, yeah, it's curtains, man.
Yep.
You know, it's sad. It's a sad reality, but true. You know, they have a thought process of babies. They have a thought process of babies. They don't want to take and be men and women and take the affairs of men.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they want to be led. They want to be led by the hand, and you know, it's sad. It's a sad reality.
Exactly.
But you said it right. The prophet prophesied it. There will be new Moors coming in. New Moors coming in.
New Moors. Why new Moors? Like why specify? Why stress the point that it's going to be new Moors?
Right.
Right. Why new Moors? They have to stop playing this, this game. You know what I mean? Let's put this one on the record. The Journal of the Moorish Paradigm, Book 1. Above. The document was given to me by brother Bob Daly L. Bey. This document was given to me by brother Bob Daly L. Bey. It is from the Permanent Mission of Morocco in New York. It is an article relating how Moors came to New England area in the 3rd century AD. In the area where the brother in the previous picture is from. The article says that Moroccans discovered America over 1,000 years before Columbus. Thus, the Moroccans in Africa are aware of the Moorish connection to America. With regards to Moors being in the New England area when the first Europeans came here, David McRitchie says in the book Ancient and Modern Britons, in 1576,
The native races of New England were spoken of indifferently as Indians and Moors, and or British Indians are also remembered as Moors. Like, what more you want?
Wow.
What more? What more do you want? And again, you know, Islam to Brother Hakeem Bey and the Moorish paradigm for, you know, again, not being a passive Moor. Not thinking, oh, be active, I have to, the plates. No, how about you just put out some books introducing people to the Moorish paradigm? How about that?
Give Islam to brother McRitchie.
Islam. European.
Make the European tell us the truth. Mark.
Make the European tell us the truth. Make them. And Europeans telling us the truth.
Indeed.
With no apology. Right, with no apology. So let's see what else we got in the question email. Oh, here we go. So you're gonna do your research. Remember, they already, you know, there's no such thing as Moroccan Empire, right? There's no such thing as Moroccan Empire. But Stephen Blakely, Mr. Parks guy, has a great article about Tangier Island, Virginia. Now, why would Virginia have an island called Tangier?
Right.
You know, why? Just for kicks? Just because they're bored, they're gonna call over here Tangiers. They're just bored. Right, they're bored. You can check this one out. Barbary Captivity Narrative. Barbary Captivity Narrative. PDF. You know, just so you can do your studying, because Moors will give you reference points. Active Moors, not just Moors. Active Moors will give you some type of reference points or whatever. They're not just going to do some PowerPoint BS and not give you reference points for you to go build your library. Because every Moor should have some type of a library, some type of a level of a library.
Yes.
Every Moor should have that. So let's
With
just...
the child section.
Say it again?
I say with the child section.
Oh yes,
also.
most definitely. You need to have some children's books in your library. Because you just never know when a child will stop by. Right. So make sure you go check the PDF. Barbary Captivity Narrative. It's presented by Project Muse. Project MUSE. The Barbary Captivity Narrative in American Culture. Don't forget that part. Again, this idea that, you know, we've had stuff going on over here. Oh, there's Mount Mocha. We let Mount Mocha tell the Moors Islam. Hold on, more. Mount Mocha.
How you doing, son?
Everything's good. I just wanted to let you know that I'm live right now, so tell all the Moors Islam.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah. It's all right. We've been having call-ins all day.
Oh, okay. Are you
So-
going to be able to maybe give me a call after or send me the flyer?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, send me the flyer and then I'll send out the email.
No problem.
When you get a chance, there's no hurry.
No worries. Oh yeah,
All right.
don't forget to tell the Moors Islam they're listening live.
Islam, Moors! Oh,
Peace
my.
and love, Boca.
Peace and love, son.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye.
Right. Now you really think that it's just, happenstance and coincidence and all that? Can't be. It's impossible. It's impossible. Because, when you start getting, Barbary captivity narrative in America. Remember, we're talking about Barbary. And then Barbary is Arabic for Moorish. Moorish. Not Israelite.
Right.
Not ancient Egyptian, Cushite and all that stuff. Moorish. Why? Because the Moors are the culmination of all these cultures that you call the ancient cultures of whoever, but don't want to recognize the Moors. Fool. Fools. Right? And again, these are just reference points from Moors who are students of their culture. They're not like these clowns that you guys have using SPLC as a source. Right? Not those Moors. I'm not talking about Moors using SPLC as a source. We're talking about Moors who study. And they find you information that, is going to help liberate you. Not just nothing. Let's actually check the Moorish book. See what they have to say.
While you're checking that, Sheikh, I
Yeah,
just
Moor.
want to see how poverty and law go together in one term. I can't see it.
Right?
I get to use poverty and law in the same speech. I can't feel that.
It's amazing, bro. Alright, even the Christians stood a far better chance of official promotion by the followers of the Prophet than the recent proselyte to Islam. It was not in the nature of a numerous and powerful caste smarting under unmerited humiliation and conscious of its strength to calmly submit to such injustice. Nor was it long before this destructive policy, which, like many of the evils that afflicted the Muslim domination, had its origin in Arab pride, produced monumentous political results. It encouraged treasonable correspondence with the Christians of the North. It raised up spies in every community. It provoked the bloody revolt of the southern suburb of Cordova during the reign of Al-Hakim I. It recruited the armies of Ibn Hafsan, who for 30 years defied the power of the Caliphate. The renegades, who outnumbered all other classes combined, lacked only organization and leadership to have driven their haughty oppressors into the sea. When the power of the Arab faction was destroyed, their condition was improved, but the ardor of Protestantism had vanished. Such experiences tended rather to confirm than to weaken the faith of the hesitating. Other causes contributed to the prevalent apathy. The semi-theocratical character of the Muslim constitution implied to all believers the active exertion of the supernatural power. The head of the government was at the same time the successor and the representative of the prophet. A system which claims divine superiority should by all means be free from turmoil, from vices, from schism. Its infallibility should be demonstrated by the preeminent wisdom of its degrees. Its banner should never be lowered. Never. Never should the banner be lowered. Right? Like what the Moor was saying in class the other day. The ensign. Never should you, because remember you have a nation, but you are the representative of that. You are the promotional expression of the Moorish nation. You are the billboard that everybody's looking at when they say Moors. People not going to history books anymore. They're looking to see where Moors are at. Because they know that there's Moors out here. They know that there's a renaissance. They're starting to realize that all the Moors aren't Moriscos. They didn't conquer all the Moors. There's those that choose to be conquered. There are those that choose to take that subjugated position as the position. Because they were against it from the beginning. They were never with the program. As soon as they're telling you, naturalize, but Noble Drew Ali said you're born this. Sheiks are born, not made. What do you mean I have to naturalize to be a Moor? A sheik is a Moor.
Right.
Like a sheik's not anything else but a Moor. So if sheiks are born, not made, that means from his birth he was a sheik. Or she was a sheik. So you're telling me that they were sheiks, but not Moors. They weren't Moorish Americans. They were just sheiks, and then they got the degree of Moorish American when they came to you guys' Sunday school meeting. Get the hell out of here. Really? When Drew Ali said something totally different than the circular logic that these people are coming with. The warped logic that they're coming with to prove a point. The walking backwards thinking they're going forwards. And then you're looking at them and you're convinced they're going forwards. When you clearly see them going backwards. It's going to be on the people. Remember, you're going to be the one that gets judgment for being a dumbass. Not going to be me. You're the one that's going to face the wrath of Allah. I know, to date, me and Allah are tight. Because I don't play with Allah. I don't play with Noble Drew Ali.
Not at all.
Like, I do not play with that. I don't play what I know he taught and then talk against certain things. I don't do those stuff. Because I've seen people get it from Allah and Noble Drew Ali for playing like they know something and he didn't know. I've seen it happen. So I watch where I step. I mean, I'm looking at my surroundings. My head's not in my phone when I'm walking. Know that I have peripheral vision when my head's in my phone. Know that. because it's not going to be getting caught up. And then I have to face some wrath of Allah. Forget that. There's other wrath we'll deal with. Wrath of Allah, that's some other stuff. Because that's not going to be on the earth plane. So don't even worry about some stuff happening on the earth plane. Trust the wrath of Allah is not happening on the earth plane. So don't get hype. Yeah. Oh yeah, I went through, you know what I mean? 50 years of torment. Everything's over now. My life is beautiful and stuff. Oh no, you didn't even get the stuff yet. You think you got something. You got a lot more to get, bro. A lot more. It ain't over. Fat lady's not singing.
Right.
Right? Fat lady's not singing. Don't forget, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, every single Tuesday. If you think that's some BS, you don't have to turn in your fez and all that stuff. Just push 1. Call into the show. Morisco, whoever. You know, show's open to everybody. What we deal with there, nationality and birthrights, as taught by Noble Juali. And then on top of what we studied for ourselves, we might have some little pennies to throw into, you know what I mean, the vastness that Noble Juali brought us. But every Tuesday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, MHHS Eyes Wide Open on Blog Talk Radio. But there's a call-in number. Well, you have to call in early, because if you don't call in early, then you're not going to get in. And then you're going to use that as an excuse as to why you couldn't push 1 and, you know, talk your BS. So call in early, maybe by 9:15, 9:16, because by 9:17 you're not getting in. So 9:15, 9:16, something like that, call in, push mute, go do whatever it is you have to do for 15 minutes, come back to your phone later and then listen to the show. Push 1, make sure, if you have a question or anything like that, make sure you push 1 so we can assist you, you know, right? The call-in number is 2 numbers, right? 347-945-5899, it's 1 number. If that one there is busy, then you go to the other one. 425-569-5201. 347-945-5899, 425-569-5201. And then for those people who are, man, these guys, they want you to call so the phone company that they're tied with could make money and they're getting a cut off of the checks that the phone company makes because you're calling into the show. Okay, you don't have to call in, you know what I mean? You can go online, listen for nothing. If it's long distance, you don't want to pay long distance, no problem. blogtalkradio.com, MHHS-Eyes Wide Open. Right, Blog Talk Radio. And then, you know, don't get mad when it cuts off in 2 hours because that's why we told you to call in. But because you're cheap or whatever, it's okay. Don't worry. Do your thing. Listen for free. And then tomorrow, go to Brother Najib L's YouTube page under MHHS, Brother Najib L, and he has all the uploads there so you can listen to the full show at your convenience. Why? Because we take care of you for free. Nothing. Class, you just sit there, take notes, and then go study after. Is there something really wrong with that? Is there wrong with these people taking their time to have a blog talk show to present information? You think this is about selling books and stuff like that? This is not about selling books. It's not about selling cards or nothing like that. That's not what this is about. This is about liberating a mentally dead people who need to be raised immediately. It's about waking up a mentally dead people, which is what is being done with you going on to the Blog Talk Show, you going on to rvbaypublications.com, you going to the House of Ram, you being here, Canaanland Moors, YouTube class, you going and watching Sabir Bey, you going and watching Brother Mario, you going and watching Pardon the Interjection, you going and watching Brother Bakari, you going and watching all these different Moors out here putting out information that's, you know, very interestingly on the same frequency. It's almost as if all these people study together, because, you know, all their classes you can actually sit down and learn something. Islam to Brother Ramiel in Cali, you know, there's all these Moors, and Brother Ramiel Bey riding on the same frequency, doing the work, uplifting our people, putting information out, with hopes that they get some. If they don't, it's okay, you know what I mean? You'll be back to learn next time, because that was your path. But for those who know that this is it, you're where you're supposed to be. Islam to you, Islam to everybody for representing. Don't forget 9:15, right? Brother Supreme, Islam to you and all the stuff that you're doing with Pardon the Interjection.
I give you thanks, you. Much thanks, Islam.
So we want to say Islam to all the Moors. Peace and love, always. And we're just getting ready for our closeout. We got Supreme ready.
Okay, definitely, Dad. I want to say thank you to the Moors in the chat, and I love you, Moors. Again, like I always say, it's a beautiful time to be alive, and I know when I make my transition, I know that I've done some good. You know, if I can do more good on the other side, I'll do that then too. But again, like I say, you know, keep studying, Moors. Just keep studying, and you in the right place at the right time. So no worries. You know what I'm saying? And again, I love you, Moors, and that's our first principle. So I'm going to live by what the Prophet put out there for us to live by, and that's what I'm doing. And to all the dirty Moors, keep being dirty. After you get the house smashed, we're going to put the green lantern light of truth on you and clean you right on up.
Islam. Clean them right up. Peace and love, Moor.
Peace and love. You ready for me?
Oh yeah, I'm ready for you, Moor. I'm ready for you. I'm ready for you.
The heart, Pig Pen Bay, use.
X-Clan. Again, leather feathers. Right? Telling you. You used to see these regular.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's what
Leather feathers.
I used to see that stuff.
Right? Leather feathers.
Leather feathers.
X-Clan.
Yeah.
Right? R.I.P. Sugar Shaft too.
Moorish MC, avalanche flow. Watch the floaters and ram chunks. All I see in dress code today is bite punks. Pants off your ass, but you're wearing a belt. But don't use it, take it off, give you welts like dad used to do it. Black with no autopsy, no knowledge of self. Had me in stores, raiding clothes racks and store shelves. I'm from Tobago, never fell for Santa and elves. R.I.P. Gummer, and those murdered by sickle and cells. Big up to Thunder, never charged me for one beat. And that's the MO of all producers that keep it unique. They know I don't keep truth discreet. Flow force abundant, lyrics won't deplete. Can't retreat now, I made it too far. While corny rappers still only write rhymes in 16 bars. I might as well too, since that's how execs brainwash subjects. Multi-dimensional MC underground like sub-depths.
Now the blown up picture is Noriega putting up the 5 and the 2, just like the Moors put up the 5 and the 2. This CNN, Noriega, gangster rappers, thug drug money rappers. Go right now, go into the tape, the little tape thing with the drawer, pull out the tape, unravel the insert, and then read the credits. This is a big CD. This is a big underground CD. CNN War Report.
Moorish MC, not a poet, not a rapper. On tracks, vocal gun, beretta, tongue clapper. Real as can be. I'm not a rapping actor like your favorite Ashkenazi. More spit and drink a Sprite after. Won't teach you the law. And when he gets captured, he will get out like 3 strikes to back catchers. But you can't get out, being you awarded a crown. Man got straight deny you due process in Moorish gown and sashes. All laws divine, he man's his average. Power of thought got God's acting like a savage. Color of law got the savage playing God's position. Then savages pray to stars so ancestors won't listen. So colonizers dissing, piss and tell you it's raining. Program your children and try to tell you they failing. Some of you need concentration camps, you don't think. Eating animal parts uncooked, it still looks pink. In order to climb charts, rappers accept exec wings. They only give you a deal cause your whack and flow stinks. Trust me, you like the exec's wings, and I think that you got a deal cause your flow stinks, nigga.
You got turban on with the jewel, right?
Yeah,
So Muhammad Ali's on it, Yassine Beys on it, Sprague Ben's on it, Buju's on it, Swiss Beats is on it, Nori's on it, Nas on it, Flavor Flav's on it, Snoop's on it. Look at the jewel. Look at the jewel. Sisters, Real Roxanne. Right? Look at Real Roxanne with her fez with the tassel on there, right there. That's Real Roxanne. Everybody knows Real Roxanne.